Story 1. Be careful dealing with the cartel. About 5 years ago, just before the drug cartel wars, I took a trip to Mexico with my girlfriend, another couple, and two of my good buddies. We all lived in LA and drove down just south of the border to Rosarito for Memorial Day weekend. After settling in at the beach house we were renting, picking who sleeps where, drinking some cervezas and whatnot, all six of us piled into the car and set out for the first pharmaceria we could find so that we could get this party started right. We decided on Valium, something none of us had tried before but had heard a lot about, and bought enough pills to last us the weekend. I made a futile attempt to score some weed, thinking marijuana medicinos would get the message across, but was met with a confused look from the lady behind the counter. We then headed downtown to party. After parking the vehicle and climbing down a sandy embankment, we arrived at the main street where all the bars, clubs, and drunken college kids are. Taking a seat at a table in a bar, we start with a round of beers and decide to wash down some pills with tequila shots. We each take 2 pills and get up to leave, and then things start to get hazy. I start having auditory hallucinations and can't wipe the grin off my face. That's the last thing I remember from that night. The next morning, I wake up in bed next to my girlfriend and feel very well rested, but have no memory of the night before. She doesn't remember a thing either. What do we do? How did we get home? Then we start hearing everyone else in the house waking up. What happened last night? Everyone is laughing at this point because it appears that we had all blacked out. Then our friend starts looking through her camera and there are hundreds of pictures of us doing random shit, buying hats, jewelry, and sunglasses from street vendors, posing with random strangers, riding a horse-drawn carriage, all while looking high as fuck. 2 of my buddies went to a carnival and won prizes, and no one remembers anything. I was just going through the pics, and the look on the faces of some of the rural Mexican street vendors is priceless. It's a miracle that none of us got mugged or worse that night. Story 2, dropping acid in school. One day in school, we decided to cut class, drop some acid, and spend the day in an old graveyard not far from school. Getting off campus was always an adventure. It was in the middle of a neighborhood patrolled by cops, and the ROTC guys were known to hide in the bush to try to bust skippers. Despite this, we managed to escape, or so we thought. So we get to the spooky old graveyard, find a quiet spot, eat our doses, and relax. It had rained that day, so everything was kind of gloomy out. After some time, one of the guys in our group busted out a pipe and suggested we smoke some pot to help the acid kick in. We were all game, so we fired it up. While we were smoking, the acid kicked in. After we had finished the bowl, we kept passing it around, and it kept hitting. After a while, someone brought this oddity up, and the guy who packed the bowl said that the reason it kept hitting was because there was crack in it. This is about the time things start getting chaotic, and my memory of events gets blurry. I don't recall what triggered it, but all at once, everyone in our group was overcome with feelings of dread and paranoia. I suppose the experience of sneaking off campus was still with us because we were all convinced that we were being chased. At first, we tried coolly walking around the graveyard, looking for a more secluded area. But out of the corners of our eyes, we kept seeing what looked like men in fluorescent rain ponchos. They were everywhere we turned, and we thought we were surrounded. We became frantic and began running through the cemetery. Eventually, we started hearing dogs barking, which fucked us up even more. We were convinced we were done for and just wanted to get out. After frantically running in circles for what seemed like hours, we got back to the entrance of the graveyard. All that stood between us and freedom was a large group of, and I can't explain this, elementary school children. As we saw the children, we all got a grip on ourselves and tried to maintain our composure. We figured we'd just walk on past them and be home free. But as we approached them, they all of a sudden turned at once to us, screamed, and began running at us. We all turned around and hauled our asses back until we lost them. After some more hiding, we eventually came down enough to get our shit together and get out. When we left, there were no more kids. Most of the stuff we saw that day was easily explained. The rain ponchos turned out to be nothing more than flowers on graves that were exaggerated by the gloom of the day and the drug-fueled paranoia. The barking dogs were just neighborhood dogs. The kids? I still can't figure that one out. Maybe they were on a field trip. At the end of the day, we went back to school. Out parents picked us up. I went home and eased off the rest of the effects. No one got hurt and no one got in trouble, so despite the terror we went through, I would consider it a success. Sorry, that wasn't as brief as I would have liked. Story 3, recovery from addiction. How about dropping out of 3 colleges, going to jail once, losing all my friends to rehab, suicide, jail, or continued use, and then making a recovery back to regular life? In 5 years, I spent over $30,000 on drugs. $5,000 of which I saved from high school and another $5,000 I earned working. You can guess where the other $20,000 came from. I've done drugs orally, nasally, for over 300 pills of E. Mixed drugs, done month-long binges of drugs and drug cocktails, stared at the LL wildfires and storms on the San Diego coast while on acid, watched a friend get arrested at a massive rave while standing right next to him, lost friends, made friends, climbed 3-story buildings to break into friends' apartments, smashed windshields, grown weed, beat up my girlfriend in frustration one time, shared needles, been to rehab, got kicked out of rehab, driven over 200 miles for a sack, dealt with Mexican mafia. I've tried every drug I could ever get my hands on and never very responsibly. If I could remember the majority of all the shit I've done, I would write it here, but I definitely can't. Despite all this, though, I'm getting back into life and I'm back in school. I'm 21 and 76 days, the longest ever since I was 16. Clean off of everything and I'm not looking back.